In this video, I'm going to focus on some tips on coming back from places like Iran to places like Germany. So, first of all, my advice to you is simple. If possible, ideally, don't travel to Iran. And if for some reason you insist on going, then at the very least, make sure you come back unhappy. Not just a little disappointed, not mildly inconvenienced, but come back with a properly curated sense of distress, a well-organized discomfort, a memorable collection of grievances. Because if you return relaxed, delighted, or worse, enchanted, you might find yourself facing consequences you did never anticipate. You see, the real journey does not end at the airport. It begins there. That's where the work starts. You must take everything you experienced, every moment, every scene, every interaction, and carefully sort it. Not by what moved you or surprised you, or even not by what you genuinely felt, but by what will be most effectively retold. You should edit your own memory in the airplane. Select the moments that carry weight, the ones that sound serious, the ones that can be narrated with a slight pause, maybe a sigh. Practice them quietly in your seat. Refine the tone, adjust the details. By the time the plane lands, you should have a polished set of stories ready. Because once you return, you will be expected to perform your experience. If you make the mistake of saying something like, "It was beautiful," or "the people were warm," or "I actually had a good time," you may notice a subtle shift in the room, a silence, perhaps a raised eyebrow, a certain cooling of enthusiasm. It's not dramatic at first, it never is, but over time, these small missteps accumulate, I tell you. Friendship, after all, is important. And there are delicate things making friendship. They are built not only on shared value, but on shared narrative. And if your narrative deviates too far, if it introduces too much light into the space that expects shadow, you risk creating a kind of quiet distance. So be careful. Instead, draw attention to the weight of the place. Speak of tensions, of contradictions, of unease. Mention the atmosphere, the mullahs. Yes, the atmosphere is always important. Use words like Islamic, heavy, restricted, complicated, restriction, censorship. These travel well. These are safe words. Talk about the structures you observed, the systems, the visible and invisible pressures. If you encountered anything ambiguous, interpret it decisively. If something felt ordinary, frame it as a revealing. If something felt pleasant, contextualize it. Explain why it was surprising, why it existed despite everything else. And if you happen to live in a place like Germany, this becomes even more crucial. Because in certain circles, your story is not just story, it's a contribution, a confirmation, a piece of evidence that fits into a larger understanding of how the world is supposed to be. In these spaces, the most valuable narrative is the one in which you appear as someone who has seen through the surface, someone who has witnessed difficulty, someone who has at the very least briefly been positioned against the machinery of something larger and more oppressive. It helps, if possible, to cast yourself slightly as a subject within that structure. Not dramatically, no need for exaggeration, but just enough, a moment of discomfort, a minor frustration, an encounter that did not go smoothly. These can be shaped into something more meaningful, something that resonates. You would be surprised how effective this can be. I have known people, perfectly ordinary people, who retained from Iran or their travel with nothing but pleasant memories, and found themselves strangely isolated. And I have known others who, after carefully recounting the hardships they endured, the confusion, the inconvenience, the subtle humiliations, suddenly found themselves surrounded, listened to, taken seriously. It is remarkable, really remarkable, that how certain kinds of suffering, when properly narrated, can function as social currency. So think of it this way: the best souvenir you can bring back here, especially to Germany, is not a photograph, not a handcrafted object, not even a story of beauty. It's a well-constructed account of difficulty, a narrative of strain, something that can be repeated, adjusted, and redeployed in different settings. At dinners, at gatherings, in casual conversations that slowly turn more serious. Return to it often, each time, redefine it a little more, emphasize different aspects depending on your audience, let it grow, let it settle into your identity as someone who has seen. Of course, you may occasionally remember other things. A certain light in the late afternoon, a conversation that stayed with you longer than expected, a moment of ease that did not fit into any of your prepared categories. These things might surface quietly without asking for attention. When they do, you have a choice. You can follow them or you can let them pass. After all, not every memory is equally useful. And usefulness in the end is what matters most. So yes, travel if you must. Go, see, experience. But when you return from Iran, be thoughtful, be selective, be strategic, because the story you tell is not just about where you went, it is about where you now belong.